Here we are going to take a look at question number 4. It says, consider the following data of the scores in percentage of a sample of 30 students who sat a Math 121 A and B test. So it appears that there are two groups, A and B, 30 students. In all, it appears 15. And the data is collected by an academic researcher who claimed the following hypothesis. So his claim is that the population mean score of Math 121 A, so he's making a claim about A is greater than 55%. So that's what he's saying about Math 121 A. And here you have a sample of 15, the scores of 15 students. So let's see which group this sample is. So according to part A, it says complete and label the stem and leaf plot to present the data of Math 121 B. So it seems that this sample is for Math 121 B. Math 121 A has already been presented here in this column. So as you can see, the stems are from 5 to 9. And for a stem of 5, we've got a small leaf of 2, a small leaf of 2, and an 8. So we have 52 and 58. And then for stems of 6, we've got 60. Here it is. 63. Here it is. 64. Here it is. 2 66s. 1 and 2. Here they are. And 68. 71, 75, and 78. From the sample, here it is presented in a stem and leaf, 80 and 88, and 91 and 95. And the key, you can choose any example. For example, 5/2 means 52%. You could have chosen 9/1 means 91%, etc. So here is the stem and leaf plot completed. They normally call that a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. Part B says to determine the median of both groups. So we know that the number of data values in each group is 15. So n is 15. And the location, when you've got a sample in raw data, like a stem and leaf, is n plus 1. So for the median is a half times n plus 1. That's the location for the median when you've got a stem and leaf. N is 15. So that's why you have here a half times 15 plus 1. So we're looking for the 8th value for both groups. Because 15 plus 1 is 16, and half of 16 is 8. So let's start with group A. This is 60, 69. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the median for group A happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 83. Not 84, 83. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. That's 83. And for group B, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So that's 68. So the median for group A is 83%, and the median for group B is 68%. Part C is asking which group performed better, and part D is saying to give a valid reason for your answer in part C. So which group performed better? Here we are talking about scores, okay? So the group that got on average the highest score, on average, the better. So as you can see, The average for group A is 83. Most of the students scored around that area, around 83%. As you can see, the majority from 59 to 98, 99, as you can see. And the median is 83 for group A. And the median for group B is less, which is 68%. Most of the students scored, between 58 and 78, around there. So as you can clearly see, group B did not perform as well as group A. Group A performed better. So the reason for group A performing better is because the average is greater, which is 83%, and most of the students scored on the higher end of the scale than group B. So the median score for group A is greater than that of B. 83 is greater than 68. And also most of the students' scores of group A are on the higher end of the scale, while those of group B are on the lower end of the scale. Now, part E says to complete the pair of hypotheses. Now, we first have to start with the claim. Remember, the claim says the population mean score of MATH121A is greater than 55%. So the claim was made with regards to MATH121A. Okay, so we have to translate this claim to symbolic form. Now, greater than, here's the symbol for greater than. It is an alternative symbol because it does not carry the equal sign. Remember, the rule is that the null symbol must carry the equal sign. So here's this translation. The population mean is greater than 55%. So to complete the pair, we must state the null which comes above the alternative. There's a symbol for it, H sub 0. The mean is less than or equal to 55% because the null and the alternative must contradict each other. As I said, these are like two persons debating. The question is, or the research question is, to be more accurate, what is the average score? So the claim is that, well, the average score is greater than 55%. So that's an alternative claim. So the null now is doing a rebuttal, if you want to put it that way. It's saying, well, no, I don't think so. The population mean is less than or equal to 55%, and that will complete the pair of hypotheses to be tested using the data that was collected. So that's it with regards to MATH121A. Part F says, based on the data, will she regret the null hypothesis? So we have to see what the null hypothesis is saying. The null hypothesis is saying that the mean, the population mean, is less than or equal to 55%. Is that true? So we need to look at the data. That's true. Now recall that the claim was made with regards to MATH121A. So when we look at MATH121A, the median is 83%. Now let's compare this to what the null is saying. The null is saying that the mean is less than or equal to 55%. Now clearly, 83% is not less than 55%. So this null statement appears to be untrue. So therefore now, we have to reject that null statement because the average is not less than 55%. It is 83. 83 is not less than 55%. So yes, we have to reject the null hypothesis. And what is the reason? The median score of group E is 83%, which is greater than 55%. Also, most of the scores are on the higher end of the scale for group E. So therefore now we have to reject the null hypothesis. Now for part H is said to complete the conclusion. So since we reject the null hypothesis, we have to conclude with the alternative hypothesis. And the alternative hypothesis saying that the mean is greater than 55%, which is true because 83% is greater than 55%. So in conclusion, based on the data, the average score is greater than 55%. Always remember, the process begins with two statements, the null and the alternative, contradicting each other. The null symbol is always have the equal sign. And when it comes to decision, is either you reject the null or you do not reject the null. If the null is rejected, then you conclude with the alternative. If the null is not rejected, then the null will be the conclusion. So since we have rejected the null statement, we have concluded with the alternative that the average score is actually greater than 55% because we got an average of 83%.